Imagine dedicating your life to your family, enduring unimaginable pain and sacrifices, only to be faced with a heart-wrenching predicament. Our story comes from Reddit, where a brave woman shares her intimate journey through love, sacrifice, and a deeply personal conflict. She's just given birth to her second child, a moment that should be filled with joy. But instead, she finds herself at a crossroads. Her husband, the man she has loved and trusted for over a decade, refuses to consider sterilization. Instead, he wants her to undergo yet another invasive procedure.
My name is Emma. I am 33 years old, and my partner is 37. We just had a baby this week. We've been together for 11 years now, and this baby is our second child. In fairness, I am medically incapable of having more children to term. I can physically get pregnant, but I can't give birth again. We decided that we were okay with having 2 kids and that this would be our last. However, the journey to this decision was filled with many discussions, emotions, and moments that tested our relationship. A few weeks ago, my doctor asked whether I wanted to be sterilized, as they would be opening me up anyway during a C-section. My husband and I had talked this over, and he said that it was a good idea. I was hesitant, but I think just for practical reasons, sterilization was for the best. I agreed, and we signed off on sterilization. However, due to the previously mentioned medical issue, I started bleeding at 37 weeks, and my baby had to be born on an emergency basis. During an emergency C-section, they do not perform sterilization as it's done for life-saving reasons. The doctors made it clear to me afterward that I would need to essentially triple up on contraceptive measures until I could get the surgery done, which may be a very long wait. Sterilization during a C-section is quite a lot better at preventing pregnancies, as the one where you get just the sterilization surgery alone is keyhole surgery. It has higher rates of ectopic pregnancy. The thought hadn't crossed my mind, but my husband's grandmother was visiting, and she said, "Emma has given you 2 children. She's had major surgery for you twice now. Why don't you get the sterilization surgery?" The midwife was present during this and spoke about how much faster it could be done for men than women, and how I'd had quite invasive surgeries, and another, even if minor surgery, I would be looking at a much longer recovery time than most. In total, I've had major surgery on my abdomen area 6 times throughout my life. My husband said there was no way he's having sterilization surgery. He didn't even want to discuss it. However, he still wanted to discuss me having the surgery and still wanted me to have the surgery. He kept saying that it's different for a man. I feel like he's not being fair, especially when I've had to be cut open twice already for our kids. I spend the pregnancies with hyperemesis gravidarum, so 9 months of dehydration, caused by being unable to go 30 minutes without vomiting. I don't understand why he won't even talk about it, but I'm also worried that he doesn't want to do it because he wants to have a fallback card in his pocket in case we separate, so that he can have kids with another woman. I don't know whether I'm being inconsiderate, since technically it is me who shouldn't get pregnant, not him. Part of me wishes that we could go through this together, though. I'm really confused by this. Let me take you back to the beginning, where this journey truly started. My husband, John, and I met 11 years ago. Our relationship blossomed from a strong friendship into a deep, loving partnership. We have shared many wonderful moments together, from our first date to our wedding day, and the births of our 2 beautiful children. Our first child, a lovely girl named Lily, brought immense joy into our lives. Her arrival was smooth, and though parenthood was a new adventure for us. We navigated it together, with love and patience. When we decided to have a second child, we were both excited and a little anxious. We knew the challenges that came with another pregnancy, especially given my medical history. I have a condition that makes it difficult to carry pregnancies to term. Despite this, we were hopeful and eager to expand our family. The journey through my second pregnancy was far from easy. I experienced severe hyperemesis gravidarum, a condition that caused constant vomiting and dehydration. Every day was a struggle, but the thought of welcoming another child into our lives kept me going. During one of my prenatal visits, my doctor brought up the topic of sterilization. Given my medical history and the fact that I would be undergoing a C-section, it seemed like a practical solution. The doctor explained that performing the sterilization during the C-section would be more effective in preventing future pregnancies compared to keyhole surgery done separately. This was because the latter had a higher risk of ectopic pregnancy. The idea of sterilization was daunting, but I understood the rationale behind it. John and I had a long discussion about it. He was supportive of the idea, emphasizing the practicality and safety it would bring. I, on the other hand, felt a mix of emotions. I understood the benefits, but the thought of never being able to have children again was a difficult pill to swallow. Despite my hesitations, we decided that it was the best course of action. We agreed to proceed with the sterilization, and I signed the necessary paperwork. However, life had other plans. At 37 weeks, I began to experience severe bleeding. It was a terrifying experience. John rushed me to the hospital, where the doctors performed an emergency C-section to save both me and our baby. Our second child, a healthy baby boy named Noah, was born. In the midst of the chaos, the planned sterilization could not be performed. The priority was to ensure our immediate safety. After the surgery, the doctors informed me that I would need to take extra contraceptive measures until the sterilization could be done. They explained that the wait could be long and I needed to be vigilant. It was during this recovery period that a conversation with John's grandmother triggered a new wave of thoughts and emotions. She visited us at the hospital, and seeing my condition, she posed a question that I hadn't considered. Emma has given you 2 children, and she's had major surgery for you twice now. Why don't you get the sterilization surgery? Her question was simple, yet it struck a chord. The midwife, who was present, added that the sterilization procedure for men is much faster and less invasive than for women. She also mentioned that my recovery from another surgery, even if minor, would be much longer given my medical history. John's response was immediate and firm. He said there was no way he would undergo sterilization surgery. He didn't even want to discuss it. This reaction caught me off guard. Here I was, having gone through 2 major surgeries for our children, and yet he wasn't willing to consider a procedure that would be much less invasive for him. He insisted that it was different for a man. His refusal hurt me deeply. I felt like he was being unfair, especially considering the physical toll my pregnancies and surgeries had taken on me. During my pregnancies, I suffered from hyperemesis gravidarum, which caused severe dehydration and constant vomiting for 9 months. The thought of undergoing another surgery, no matter how minor, was daunting. I tried to understand his perspective. Maybe he had fears or concerns that he wasn't expressing. But his unwillingness to even discuss the possibility made me feel like my feelings and experiences were being disregarded. It also made me worry about his motives. Was he thinking about a fallback option in case we separated? Did he want to keep the possibility open to have children with another woman? These thoughts swirled in my mind, adding to my confusion and hurt. Part of me wished we could face this decision together. I wanted us to be a team, to support each other through this process. Instead, I felt like I was being left to carry the burden alone. I didn't know if I was being inconsiderate by asking him to consider the surgery, especially since I was the one who shouldn't get pregnant again. But I couldn't shake the feeling that we should be going through this together. Reflecting on our relationship, I realized how much we had been through together. Our journey wasn't just about the highs, but also the lows, the challenges we faced, and how we supported each other through them. John had always been there for me, and I had been there for him. We had built a life together, filled with love and shared experiences. This decision about sterilization felt like a significant moment, one that tested our bond and communication. As I lay in the hospital bed, recovering from the emergency C-section, I thought about the conversations we had had over the years. We had always been able to talk openly and honestly with each other. This situation felt different, though. There was a wall between us, one that I didn't know how to break down. I wanted to understand his perspective, but I also needed him to understand mine. The physical and emotional toll of my pregnancies and surgeries had been immense, and I needed his support more than ever. In the days that followed, we tried to navigate this new reality. I was recovering from the surgery, adjusting to life with a newborn, and grappling with the unresolved issue of sterilization. John was supportive in many ways, helping with the baby and managing the household, but the underlying tension about the sterilization decision remained. It was a shadow that loomed over us, affecting our interactions and conversations. I am currently disturbed and don't know what to do.